Reincarnated as a Wolf God Chapter 11, Coplay Royal Family. Location, Thorca Empire Imperial Palace Entrance. We have arrived, Princess, announced the knight, standing outside the carriage with due respect to its occupants after the carriage had come to a stop. Then the carriage's door swung open, and a slender, gloved hand emerged from within. As it was customary for a man to assist a lady out of the carriage, the knight gently took her hand, aiding her graceful exit. As soon as she stepped out, the knight caught a glimpse of the princess's face and was stunned by her beauty. A lustful desire to possess her rose within him. "Thank you, Sir Knight," the princess said with a polite tone and smile. Hearing her voice, he was snapped out of his thoughts, quickly regaining his composure. No, it is an honor to serve you, my lady," he said, as he kissed the back of her hand. "I had heard rumors about the beauty of the Princess of Coplay Kingdom, Arya Coplay. It is said that she's so beautiful that any man who lays eyes on her would fall in love instantly. But I thought those were exaggerated rumors, as they usually are. Even as I was assigned to escort her to the Empire, I never eagerly sought to confirm them. But what's in front of me is no exaggeration. Long wavy ocean blue hair and beautiful blue eyes that reflect the clear sky. She is the epitome of beauty itself. If only I could possess her. I would place her in my mansion, never letting any danger befall her, and buy her all the jewels money could afford, so her beauty would be dashed." His thoughts were abruptly interrupted as he heard a voice. "Get your hands off my mother, you are starting to drool," the voice said, with a rude and aggressive tone, as a young man stepped out from inside the carriage. Shocked by the voice, he came back to his senses and released the lady's hand. "I am sorry if I seemed rude, Princess Arya, Prince," he apologized while bowing respectfully with his left hand on his chest, quickly brushing over his mouth with the back of his left hand. "How dare you speak to me in such a rude tone, even after we risked our lives to escort you to the Empire safely? Do you truly think yourself a prince? Ha! If you hadn't been important to His Majesty, I would have killed you myself." The knight thought in his mind, his expression unchanged. "Clyn, don't be rude to the gentleman after he and the other knights escorted us safely to the Empire," Princess Arya said to her son. "How kind of you, my princess. You would even reprimand your son on my behalf." "My love for you keeps growing the more I know you," the knight thought to himself, unable to help but fall more in love with the princess's kindness. "It's a pity you have a son. If I had met you earlier, I would have made you my bride, instead of that commoner," he said in his mind with a regrettable tone and expression. "Sir Knight, if it is not rude, I would like to know the name of the brave knight who led our escape from that awful place," Princess Arya asked in a polite and soft voice. "It would be my honor to tell you my name, Princess. I am Elric Utter, third son of Count Utter. Our house has produced a great number of knights for the Empire for generations, and even I am Dash." Elric's words were interrupted by the loud creaking sound of the palace entrance opening, directing all attention to it. At the entrance stood a brown-haired woman dressed in a fine green gown, with a dozen maids trailing behind her. They descended the entrance steps and approached Princess Arya. "Greetings, my lady. I am Seer Guinevere, head maid of the Imperial Palace. His Majesty has been anxiously awaiting your and the prince's arrival. Your belongings will be handled carefully by the maids, so please, if you don't mind, follow me," Seer said in quick succession, preparing to escort Princess Arya and Prince Clyn into the palace. "Before we leave, my daughter still sits in the carriage. She is disabled and won't be able to meet with His Majesty. Can I trouble your maids to look after her?" Princess Arya asked, with the concerned tone of a mother. "Of course, my lady, leave her to the maids, they will be sure to take good care of her." Thank you," she said with a bright smile. "Now then, follow me, my lady, Prince Clyn," Seer said as she guided them toward the palace entrance. Inside Thorka Imperial Palace. Arya took off her gloves as soon as she entered the palace. "Disgusting," she said with a low voice while throwing them on the floor. "Mother, are you sure the plan is going to work?" Clem asked with doubt on his face while walking beside Arya. "It has to work. Unless you want to go back to being a commoner, just like your stupid father." He shook his head no. Arya regrets the decision she made for love when she was younger. She thought that falling in love was better than the arranged marriage her father made for her, so she ran away from home with her lover, a commoner who was a gardener in the palace. She thought she could live happily ever after, like the romance stories she read. But the reality is often harsh to the weak-minded. When they had their first child, her lover had to work 2 jobs to provide food and warm clothes. After some time, Arya realized that this was not the life she wanted. A life where they only eat meat once a week and the roof of their house leaks on rainy days. As time went by, she began to fight with her lover. He started to stay out late or come back home drunk. She asked him why he came home drunk, but she got a beating when she asked and was raped. After he had fallen asleep, Arya stabbed him in the neck with a knife. With her husband dead, there was no one to provide food for her and her son. She could not work because of her pregnancy, so they had to beg neighbors for food to survive. Arya realized she could not live a life like this anymore, so she sent a letter to her father asking him for help, but what she received was news of her father and family's death. And a box. This news sent her into shock while she was also pregnant with a second child, resulting in her giving birth prematurely. The child was blind in both eyes and had red hair like her husband's instead of blue hair like hers and her son's. Every time Arya saw the child, she had traumatic memories of how she was beaten and raped, so her hatred for the child grew stronger. Arya decided to open the box she received with the news, and she found the Coplay royal stamp given to only the king and a sealed letter that could only be opened with the blood of the Coplay royal family line. After opening it, she discovered a secret that could make her live the life of a princess again. "It has to work. This is my only play. I can't go back to that life anymore," she thought while biting on her right thumb finger out of anxiety. "My lady, we have arrived," Seer said, standing at the entrance of the throne room. The 2 knights guarding the entrance pulled on the door's handle, causing a loud creaking sound. "Princess Arya von Coplay and Prince Clem von Coplay have arrived," the knights announced in a loud voice.